And we're live. We're back. Yes, sir. We're back. Just talking some shit. We're gonna talk a little bit about Nick Fuentes, who's been recently. He's been all over the internet. He's been all over the place. He's been on PBD, Valuetainment. Seen him on what's his name? Brad. That podcast. I mean, he's been on a lot of different podcasts. His views are interesting to say the least. I mean, he's a smart guy. That's for sure. If the funny thing is, if you YouTube him, I guarantee it's going to come up like white supremacist, all that.
And being able to build your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Have you ever been to a funeral with fireworks before? Have you ever been to a memorial with fireworks? At the Oscars, at the fucking Oscars, when they do in memoriam for dead celebrities and Hollywood stars, do they have fireworks or do they play a sad song and show pictures in black and white? And it's somber. At the Oscars, this guy was gunned down at 31 years old and they're doing.
I mean, I saw moments of the funeral. It was an interesting event. I know some people that went. My mom went. It was in Arizona. Honestly, I would have went if I was there. And I saw moments of it, and I mean, they're celebrating the life of Charlie Kirk. I mean, I don't really think it's a big deal if there's fireworks and all that stuff, I mean, I get that it's supposed to be like a memorial, but still.
Fireworks for his grieving widow before she comes out. And she didn't even get the keynote address. The president of the United States got the keynote address.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another Base Lore video. I'm the Lore Man. And guys, strap in because today we're diving into something
I didn't even know this was a fucking reaction video like I do.
Absolutely exposes just how fake and disgusting the GOP machine has really become. I got 4 clips today of Nick Fuentes breaking down the Charlie Kirk memorial that was supposed to honor a man's life, but, ended up turning into nothing more than a political rally. This wasn't even a funeral. It was CPAC on top of a grave. It was the Trump admin and Republican establishment basically hijacking a tragedy to keep their machine alive. And nobody wants to talk about it, but obviously Nick does, and he nails it right on the head. If you're sick of the grift, sick of the lies, and these so-called conservatives that exploit death for political clout, then you're in the right place. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment. We're going to get right into the first clip. I'm going to play these clips uninterrupted, so we'll dive into the first clip now.
It was a memorial. And what it really was effectively was a big political rally. Did we hear from Charlie Kirk's friends, relatives? Did we hear from the people that knew him the best? No. We heard from the RNC. We heard from the Secretary of Education.
And
we heard from the White House Chief of Staff.
A right-wing guy, but his views on Israel are so far out there that no one really associates with him, and that's what makes him different.
We heard from the White House Strategic Advisor. We heard from the Secretary of State. We heard from the Secretary of Health and Human Services. We heard from Tucker Carlson. Is that a funeral? Is that a memorial? That felt to me like the Republican National Convention. That felt to me like CPAC. That felt to me like any generic Republican.
You know, to get certain videos and certain things that aren't out there, Rumble's a good place to get it. And, you know, I'm not really sure what the whole Griper thing was, the Griper movement, but I think it's based on his followers.
Car in April? Was she Italian? I think it was meant to be. She sounded like she would make a great wife. What better way to meet? Imagine when she looks you up after exchanging info and learned all about Nicholas J. Fuentes and became red-pilled.
Dude, shut up. Some of you people, if you think this much about women, you're just a fucking loser, honestly. Some people like put out all this ceaseless content about women, and I don't even necessarily have a response to the things they're saying in we about. That's honestly this.
Than our worthless leaders, if anyone not in government was running this scam, they would be locked up and forgotten. They print money freely. Why pay taxes?
Well, you definitely should pay your taxes. I'm not going to encourage people not to pay their tax. People, I love when people say that stuff. It's like, you know what, guys? I'm getting pissed off. Let's go commit a federal crime. It's like, no. You know, people go, hey, you know, I'm really getting sick of this shit. People go, yeah.
I mean, taxes are definitely way too high. I think if everyone band together and actually did something about it, made some change, that would be a good thing. You know, we went from 2% tax to they're taking half your paycheck. You know, that's definitely not right. They have way too much power and taking way too much money from people. You know, once you get a paycheck and you look at it and fucking half of it's gone. It's the government. And you know, you got big time people out there not even paying taxes. You got billionaires not paying taxes. So, you know, why is the middle class man paying taxes if people like that aren't? It's a solid question to ask. And I think it's absurd that we pay that much taxes. I mean, we pay taxes everywhere we go. We pay taxes when you go into the store. You pay taxes just getting your money. You pay taxes. You pay taxes when you go and get your money. It's all taxed. Everything's taxed. And that's, I don't know. I guess that's the way it is, but taking half your paycheck, that ain't right.
Yeah, like the government. I think we got to commit federal crimes. Okay. People are like, yeah. It's like, wait, what? Are you a cop? Let me see your badge, officer. Oh, what? So you're saying everyone? So, goodness, she openly loves her husband, Joshua Jackson. I loves me some Joshua Jackson. He my partner. He my man. He my husband. He a good father. That's your first family. Walking their two gay dogs. I'm Catholic. He's a Neoplatonist.
I don't even. You keep saying this. I don't even know what that means.
It's no one knows.
Okay.
It's some
Okay.
fucking nerd philosophy. No offense. No, it's philosophy club, fake religion. But no, and I'm like a conspiracy theorist. He's like a trust the science narrative cock. Like he thinks.
Did you get vaccinated?
Yes.
No.
No.
Oh,
Trump's guilty verdict is really a humiliation ritual if you think about
I
it.
love how that's just Sneako's question. Did you get vaccinated? It's such a valid question. You know, I ask that question to so many people because it shows kind of a lot. Fuck no, I didn't get vaccinated.
No, I don't know. To me, I think it's more like a religion. You say it's a humiliation ritual. I think it's actually like I think it's like a new secular religion. And Alvin Bragg is the high priest, and the courtroom is like the church, and Trump is the blameless sacrifice. Isn't that like that is the state of right-wing discourse? This is a humiliation ritual. No, it's a distraction from the Hunter Biden laptop. No, when you think about it, it's like a secular religion. Like this is the state of the discourse. I just can't take it anymore. I have to go somewhere. I have to do something about this. It's a humiliation ritual. Whoa, really? Oh my goodness. Would you like some Teddy Graham of fucking Stormy Daniels? Trump is the blameless sacrifice, the blameless victim, what? Okay. I don't know what this is. This is super weird. I've never seen that before. She's a senator? Holy smokes. You know what? I'm walking back that 16-year-old thing. Someone says she's 40? All right, maybe. Just point, Groypers.
We're so grateful to our Daily Wire Plus members.
It's crazy how like every stream I go to, it's just a fucking commercial. You go to this show and I like forget to plug my stuff. You go to these streams and you cannot go 5 seconds without blah, blah, blah.com. I'm signing a book to one of our supporters, our Daily Wire supporters. Go to Viva Barnes.
Let's go to YouTube. They actually do got some footage of him. It's actually super surprising. I think they just allowed him back on too, which is super surprising because they recently just came out and admitted that the Biden administration silenced and, you know, they silenced people during the administration on YouTube and they asked YouTube to take certain people off and to shadow ban them and all types of crazy stuff. And that just publicly came out. So, you know, it's new times. And, you know, I remember how crazy, you know, 2020 to 2024, even when just 2016 to now, thank God it's kind of calmed down. But man, the political climate from those years, from when Trump first got in office, like there was so much hatred and so much chaos and so much just destruction, and there was just a lot of, you know, losers and weirdos that came out of the woodworks and, you know, came out of the sewers, the sheds, all types of places, and just, you know, it was a dangerous time. Definitely 2020 was. And I mean, you couldn't even say stuff. You couldn't even walk down the street with the Trump hat on. I mean, it was nuts. The political climate was
Make up
unbearable.
You can literally
It's crazy.
do anything in.
Thank God it's calmed down now.
Who would you rather have run our country right now, your wife or Hitler?
Hitler! Of course. Of course. I don't have a wife, but if I did, she would not be fit to run the country. I could tell you that much. She can run the kitchen. She can't run
This
the
is why a
lawnmower.
lot of
I'll put
people
it that way.
Do not
All
like
right,
him.
guys, welcome back to another Base Lore video. I highlight
God
this
damn
clip.
it.
And this clip, if you have comments, the guys, pleasure
This
watching.
motherfucker
We were
keeps
made
popping
to
up.
lead, and I do think that women should have a secondary role in society. I think that's absolutely true. I do believe in a fundamental equality between man and woman. You know, the Bible says that God created the man and woman, so we're both created with dignity and should be respected. And there's an equality before God that we both have. But we were created with two distinct and different natures. You know, they are two essential. Maleness and femaleness are essential about a person. They're essential to the soul. They're essential to the body. They come with a function. They come with a particular anatomy. They come with a brain chemistry. And as such, those things have social roles. The idea that these clearly two distinct categories, two essential types of people would be treated precisely the same or exactly the same in society, it belies the fact that they have two different natures. And I think it's obvious that men are celestial, they're individualists, they're rationalists, they're leaders, they're risk takers. They should be working, fighting, running society. Women are terrestrial, they're nurturers, they're caregivers. They should be the mothers. I don't think that they should be necessarily precluded from working. But I think that they should be encouraged first and foremost to be mothers for their benefit and for the benefit of society as a whole. And that's kind of the gist of my position.
Okay, so I have an opening statement. I guess I'll use it up. My position's pretty clear. No, one human being does not have more intrinsic moral value than another human being. I don't think that we could take this qualification of your gender identity or what's in between your legs and abstract.
You notice how like liberals always look a certain way, just like beta fucking soy boys. So noticeable, honestly.
That out to this norm of who's going to be better at leading. I'd say the qualifications of determining who's better at leading, the qualifications of determining, half the shit that he named off over here is not going to be right what's in between your legs or your gender identity, but rather other various traits. But I guess just to make this quick, we could kind of cut to the chase here. Why do you think men are better at leading than women? I would appreciate specifics. You kind of pointed out like different natures, different biological differences, neuroanatomy, etc. I want you to name the specifics. Maybe I could ask you a question here. What are the specific biological differences between men and women that make men better at leading than women?
Smarter, stronger, all of the above. No, I mean, in actuality,
Be specific.
in
Are those your
actuality,
two?
what?
Are those your two qualifiers?
No, I'm being a little bit funny.
Well, be honest with me here.
The reason why they're better leaders, well, one, I think they're really only qualified to be leaders because they are physically stronger. And, this is one of the reasons why we have a feminist society. It's because we live in a world where we have technology. In the old days, when there was fighting, it was very physical and it was very direct. It was hand-to-hand combat, and the only people that could do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it and go back throughout history, it was always kings, never queens. I mean, go throughout history, anyone who has power and everyone, they would take complete control, and it would be a kingdom. It would be one king and his servants and all that, and there would be working class and all that, but it was never like a woman took over. Just didn't happen.
Were men. As such, the militaries that were raised up were comprised of men. The people that fought and enforced sovereignty, law, borders, all those things were men. Necessarily, then they're the decision makers. And so, the idea that it has something to do with what's between your legs, well, it has to do with what's between your legs and the fact that you have testosterone. You're physically stronger. And by the way, because you have testosterone, it means you're more aggressive. It means you're a bigger risk taker. Those are two things that are important. For a person to be a leader, they need to be able to stand against the crowd. And that means a risk taker, and means you need to be disagreeable. It involves a certain amount of aggression and a competitiveness that women simply lack. We all know that women are very agreeable, passive. Not all of them, but generally speaking, they are. They're peacemakers. They're more introspective. They're more emotional, less decisive. And all of that makes them worse as leaders.